Do you want to enjoy discipline? Most people say no. They think discipline is hard work, a constant battle against their own desires. They wait for a surge of motivation to strike, like lightning from a clear sky. But motivation is a fickle friend. It comes and goes without warning. You can change this entire dynamic. You can actually rewire your brain to not just tolerate discipline, but to actively crave it. Here is a simple path to achieve that. It is not based on willpower or harsh self-talk. It is based on the science of how your habits work. A simple process called the habit loop. It works faster than you think, and you can start today. Let me tell you about Sam. Sam is not a superhero or a productivity guru. He is a normal person, just like you and me. For years, Sam wanted to get fit. He would get a burst of inspiration, buy new running gear, and promise himself he would run every single morning. He would succeed for a week, maybe even 2. Then, one morning, a little tired, he would hit snooze. The next day, it would rain. Soon, the running shoes were gathering dust, and Sam was left feeling lazy and guilty. He thought he just did not have enough willpower. Then, Sam stumbled upon a new approach. He decided to stop trying to force himself into being a runner. Instead, he made it ridiculously easy and built around the habit loop. So, what is this secret system that Sam used to transform his life? It wasn't a sudden burst of willpower or a complicated rigid schedule. It was something far more fundamental, a framework that operates silently within all of us. It is called the habit loop, and it is the hidden engine that runs your life. Think of it as the subconscious operating system for your behavior. It's a neurological pattern that governs everything from how you brush your teeth to how you react to stress. Most of the time, we're not even aware it's happening. Our brains create these loops to conserve energy, turning a sequence of actions into an automatic routine. Every single one of your habits, good or bad, follows this simple, 3-part pattern. Understanding this framework is the first step toward taking control. It's like being handed the user manual for your own mind. Once you learn the rules, you can stop being a pawn of your impulses and start architecting the life you want. The 3 parts are the cue, the routine, and the reward. Let's break down each one, because this is where the magic happens. First, there is the cue, the trigger that tells your brain to go into automatic mode and which habit to use. It's the starting pistol for the race. A cue can be a specific time of day, like the 3 p.m. slump that sends you searching for sugar. It can be a place, like how walking into your kitchen cues you to open the fridge. It can be an emotional state, like feeling stressed and immediately wanting to scroll through your phone. Or it can be the action that just happened, like finishing dinner and instantly craving something sweet. For Sam, seeing his running shoes right by the bed the moment his feet hit the floor was the unmistakable cue. It wasn't a choice anymore. It was the next logical step. Your brain is constantly scanning your environment for these signals, waiting for the right one to launch a familiar pattern. The first step to changing a habit is to become a detective and identify the cues that trigger your routines. Second, we have the routine. This is the action itself, the behavior you perform. It can be physical, like lacing up your shoes and going for a run. It can be mental, like the spiral of negative self-talk that starts when you make a mistake. Or it can be emotional, like the feeling of anxiety that arises in a social situation. This is where most people focus their energy, trying to force a new routine through sheer willpower. But changing the routine alone is like trying to lift a heavy weight with just your arms, not your legs and core. It is inefficient and utterly exhausting. You might succeed for a day or two, but when your motivation wanes, the old cue will trigger the old, easier routine, and you'll find yourself right back where you started. The routine is the most visible part of the loop, but it's not the most powerful. Finally, and most critically, there is the reward. This is the prize your brain gets for completing the loop. It's the part that tells your brain, hey, this whole sequence, the cue, the routine, is worth remembering for the future. The reward is what creates the craving that powers the loop. It's the feeling of accomplishment, the endorphin rush, the delicious taste of a chocolate, or the mental escape of scrolling through social media. To build a new habit, you must choose a reward that genuinely makes the loop feel good, something your brain will actively start to anticipate and desire. This is how a habit becomes automatic. It's not about the action, it's about the craving for the reward that follows. Let's begin with the first law of behavior change. Make it obvious. This sounds simple, but it's the bedrock upon which all successful habits are built. Think about it. How many times have you decided to start a new habit filled with motivation, only to have the day slip by without you ever taking that first step? The intention was there, but the trigger was missing. Our brains are constantly scanning the environment for signals, for what to do next. If the signal for your desired habit is faint, hidden, or non-existent, it will be drowned out by the louder, more immediate cues of your existing routines and distractions. The first step, then, isn't to summon more willpower. It's to become an architect of your environment, designing a world where the right choice is the most obvious one. Your trigger should be so clear, so unmistakable, that it's virtually impossible to miss. It needs to be a bright, flashing beacon that cuts through the fog of a busy day. We often fail not because we lack desire, but because the cue for our new habit is ambiguous. We tell ourselves, "I'll eat healthier," or "I'll be more creative." But what does that actually look like in a specific moment? These are admirable goals, but they are not actionable cues. They are wishes, not instructions. An effective cue removes the need for in-the-moment decision-making, which is a huge drain on our mental energy. When the trigger is obvious, the path of least resistance leads directly to your new habit. This is why you must not rely on vague intentions. Vague intentions are the saboteurs of progress. Saying, "I'll study more this week," is a recipe for inaction. When is more? Where will you do it? What will you study? Your brain, faced with these questions, will default to what it already knows: procrastination, distraction, or easier tasks. The same goes for, "I want to declutter the house." It's a great idea, but it's overwhelming. It lacks a starting point. Without a specific, visible prompt, that intention will remain a floating thought, never landing in the physical world of action. Instead, pick one small physical cue you can see or touch. Make your intention tangible. If you want to start a yoga practice, don't just think about it. Unroll your yoga mat and place it in the middle of your living room floor the night before. When you walk out of your bedroom in the morning, it's not just a mat, it's a physical invitation. It's a question your environment is asking you. Want to learn guitar? Don't leave it in its case in the closet. Put it on a stand right next to the chair where you watch TV. Make the desired habit the most convenient and visible option in your space. Let's make this practical. If you want to start running in the morning, lay out your running shoes, socks, shorts, and shirt right by your bed. When your alarm goes off, the very first thing you see is your complete running uniform, ready to go. You've eliminated the friction of finding everything, the decision of what to wear. The path to the front door is now paved. Want to drink more water? Don't rely on remembering to go to the kitchen. At the start of your workday, place a full, appealing water bottle directly on your desk, right next to your keyboard. Every time you glance at your screen, the bottle will be in your peripheral vision, a constant, gentle reminder. The principle is universal. Make it simple and direct. A bright, flashing signal that your brain can't ignore. If you want to eat a piece of fruit for a snack, don't hide it in the crisper drawer. Put a bowl of apples or bananas right in the middle of the kitchen counter. Make the healthy choice the most visible one. Your environment is a powerful, silent partner in your habit formation. Use it. To make your cue even more powerful, link it to a specific time and place. This is a technique known as an implementation intention, and studies show it dramatically increases the odds of you following through. The formula is simple. I will behavior at time and location. Vague plans like, "I will do it later," kill all momentum, because later is a time that never arrives. It allows for endless procrastination. By defining the when and where, you are preloading the decision. You're giving your brain a clear map. Instead of, "I'll meditate more," your plan becomes, "After I brush my teeth in the morning, I will meditate for 1 minute on the living room couch." The end of one habit becomes the trigger for the next. Be specific. For example, When I pour my first cup of coffee in the morning, I will immediately see my journal and pen sitting next to the coffee maker, and I will write one sentence. The act of making coffee, something you already do, becomes the unmistakable cue for the new habit of journaling. You're not trying to find time, you're linking your new habit to a time that already exists. Morning cues are fantastic for setting the trajectory of your day, but nighttime cues work just as well for winding down. Want to read before bed instead of scrolling on your phone? Place a book on your pillow each morning when you make your bed. When you get into bed at night, you have to physically move the book. The cue is unmissable. This simple act of environmental design makes it easier to make the choice you want to make. Now, a crucial word of caution. When you first discover the power of cues, it's tempting to go all in. You might want to start running, meditating, journaling, and learning a new language all at once. So you cover your house in cues. But do not create dozens of cues at once. When everything is a priority, nothing is a priority. A cluttered environment of cues is just as ineffective as a barren one. It creates decision fatigue and a sense of being overwhelmed, which often leads to doing nothing at all. Start with one. Just one. Pick the single most important habit you want to build right now. The one that feels like a small domino that could knock over bigger ones. Give that one habit a single, obvious, unmissable cue. Your entire focus should be on building a relationship with this one trigger. Your job this week is simple. Honor that one cue. When you see it, act on it, no matter how small the action is. The goal isn't to run a marathon on day one. It's to put on your running shoes when you see them. The goal isn't to write a novel. It's to open your journal when you see it next to your coffee. You are training your brain to recognize that this cue means it's time for action. So, to recap, make your cue exceptionally visible and incredibly specific. Outsource the job of remembering from your fallible brain to your reliable environment. Your surroundings can be a passive space you simply exist in, or they can become an active coach. Take a look around you right now. Does your environment reflect the person you want to be? If not, what is the one single change you can make today to plant an obvious cue for a better habit? Design your surroundings to coach you, to nudge you, to guide you toward who you want to become. Make the cue obvious, and you've already won half the battle. Subscribe if you're ready to build a stronger, more focused mind. Like this video if you're done relying on motivation. Now the routine. Most people aim too high, too fast. 0 to 100 triggers resistance. Make it laughably easy. Do less than you think you need. Small actions drive big changes. Meditate for 1 minute. Do just one push-up. Write one sentence. Put away one item. Tiny removes friction. Overwhelm fades. Follow the 2-minute rule. These are entrance ramps to showing up. Every rep is a vote for your new identity. Increase gradually. Habit shaping feels natural. What is your 2-minute version? Start there. We've journeyed through the mechanics of discipline, deconstructed the habit loop, and learned how to engineer our environment for success. But now we arrive at the most crucial part, making it stick. How do we transform discipline from a daily battle into a source of genuine satisfaction? The answer lies in 3 final, powerful strategies. Make it fun, build your new identity, and most importantly, start now. Let's begin with the first, and perhaps the most counterintuitive idea, making discipline fun. The secret is a psychological principle called temptation bundling. It's simple. You pair an action, you to do, with an action, you to do. Our brains are wired to move toward pleasure, so by linking a reward directly to a habit, you're not just pushing through the difficulty, you're pulling yourself forward with the promise of enjoyment. For this to work, you must be strict. The reward only comes with the habit. For example, you only get to listen to your favorite true crime podcast while you're on your daily run. Or you only allow yourself to watch the next episode of that binge-worthy show while you're folding laundry or doing meal prep for the week. The pleasure from the podcast or the show begins to transfer over to the run or the chore. The activity stops feeling like a burden and starts feeling like an opportunity. Think about it. You could save that engaging audiobook exclusively for your commute, Or that delicious fancy coffee for your weekly budget review? Suddenly, these tasks have a built-in bright side. Next, you must shift your identity. This is the most profound change you can make. Stop seeing discipline as something you eat and start seeing it as part of who you. Don't say, I want to be a person who works out. Instead, tell yourself, I am the type of person who never misses a workout. Don't say, I'm trying to eat healthy. Say, I am a healthy person. This isn't about lying to yourself. It's about setting a new standard for your own behavior. To make this new identity believable to yourself, you must start small. Impossibly small. Your goal isn't to run a marathon tomorrow. It's to become a runner. So, start by putting on your running shoes and stepping out the door. That's it. That's the win for the day. Your goal isn't to write a novel, it's to become a writer. So start by writing one sentence. Each tiny, almost effortless action is a vote cast for your new identity. One push-up is a vote for being an athlete. Meditating for 1 minute is a vote for being a calm person. These votes accumulate, providing concrete evidence that you are, in fact, becoming who you want to be. Finally, you have to start now. Not tomorrow, not next Monday. Today. And you do that by architecting your environment. Curate your space to make the right choices, the easiest choices. If you want to drink more water, fill a bottle and put it on your desk. If you want to read more, put a book on your pillow. This is about removing friction for your good habits. Simultaneously, you must add friction for your bad ones. Want to spend less time on your phone? Move your social media apps to a folder on the last page, or better yet, leave your phone in another room. The more steps it takes to do the wrong thing, the less likely you are to do it. In this journey, you will inevitably stumble. Life happens. You'll get sick, you'll have a long day, you'll miss a habit. The key is not to let one mistake derail you. Missing once is an accident. Missing twice is the start of a new, undesirable habit. So embrace the rule. Never miss twice. If you miss a workout, don't let it slide. Do 5 squats before bed. If you skip your journaling, write one sentence on a sticky note. Repair the momentum immediately with a tiny, symbolic substitute. This tells your brain that the commitment is still active, that your identity remains intact. You have the blueprint. You are the architect of your habits, the designer of your days, and the author of your identity. It all comes down to a simple, elegant loop you can apply to anything in your life. First, the cue that triggers the action. Second, the tiny routine that is so small you can't say no. Third, the immediate reward that makes it satisfying. And fourth, the identity shift that makes it meaningful. Cue, tiny routine, immediate reward, identity. This is the path not just to discipline, but to self-mastery and genuine fulfillment. If you are done relying on fleeting motivation and are ready to build a system for success, like this video, save it as a reminder for when you need to reset and start your first tiny habit today. Subscribe if you are truly ready to build a stronger, more focused mind, because our journey together is just beginning. And turn on notifications for more psychology-based strategies for self-mastery. The choice is yours, the time is now. Be the architect.